Hot Tub Factory Outlet is now open in Draper. Don't wait months for your hot tub. Get it now. Enjoy that outdoor deep soaking experience you've been thinking about all year. Whether you have limited space or lots of room, you can have that relaxation you've been wanting today. Shop Utah's newest selection of Viking hot tubs. They're all on display at the beautiful new showroom. Best pricing in Utah and no wait time while supplies last. Hot Tub Factory Outlets at hottubfactoryoutlets.com.
Time to upgrade your adventure with an RV from Motorsportsland. Don't put off making exciting memories and exploring the many outdoor hideaways right here in Utah. Come in today and see how Motorsportsland can help you get away, or visit motorsportsland.com.
See all your savings at UtahHondaDealers.com.
The Unrivaled Players Club with Scott Mitchell, Alex Carey, and BYU's Jaron Hall.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled Players Club with Jaron Hall, brought to you by UCCU. Love where you bank. So, Jaron, I got to ask you a question, and this is your opinion. Alex and I were talking about this earlier in the day. So, Patrick Mahomes' mom, she's like, she doesn't think that interceptions that are tip passes should count against the quarterback.
That's a very mom thing.
Right.
To think,
So my first question is, how do you feel about that? And where would your mom kind of fit in this spectrum? Would she agree, disagree, or how would your mom be?
She'd go both ways. My mom has been around football long enough that I'd hope she'd understand the risk of throwing balls that could be tipped. But also, she's a good mother, so I'm sure she might back me up just like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, look, that's the thing is that it's part of the game.
It is.
A ball being tipped, somebody's got to take the turnover.
Yeah, quarterbacks get far too much credit, when things go right.
See, Scott,
so I think it's okay.
You know what? That was a very well said thing for a quarterback to hear, because Scott was like, "Yeah, look, because you'd have how many career interceptions you have
at least
in the NFL?
50% fewer.
Right, so you'd have a lot fewer. You'd have
Well, no one would get the interception. It wouldn't be credit. It'd just be credited as a turnover, but it wouldn't be to somebody.
Turnover.
Yeah, it's just a team turnover.
Right. Okay.
You're not going to say, "Oh, it was a wide receiver" or anything like that.
Yeah, get a little subjective there. It's
right.
all good though.
Listen,
it's okay.
If it makes your stats look a little bit better, though, it's nice. So. Big news today, obviously. We're waiting to see what this is going to look like. But Nick Rolovich, the head coach for Washington State University, has been let go as the head coach for cause, too. This was not – the university said, hey, you had this time to be vaccinated. He refused the state mandate up there in the state of Washington. So he and a few of his assistants will also be out coaching this week at Washington State. This is your opponent this week. Mm-hmm. I know it doesn't change anything for you,
right?
But when you look at this and you say, "Man, this is just," I'm not asking you to comment on the politics of what had happened, but
it's unfortunate, man.
But for them to lose a coach and their coaching staff, imagine what that would do with you guys having lost a head coach in the middle of the week here.
No, we're just talking right here for a second during the break. Same thing. It's unfortunate for the players, man. I feel bad for those guys. That's tough enough, to lose a head coach, as USC did. You still got your assistants, and you can kind of bounce back and still have a game plan, and play ball. But to lose four of your assistants, and I believe one was the offensive coordinator as well. That's tough, man. I mean, that puts a lot of stress on the players. But I guess that could be seen as an opportunity for those players to kind of step up and work even harder to game plan and scheme up for this next week. So in the end of the day, it might be something cool for them, to kind of step in and take that role when they don't have their coaches there. But yeah, no, it's sad, man. It stinks for the kids, honestly, to have something like that play into their season and their success. They've been playing so well the last couple of weeks. So it's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah, I wonder how. I mean, if you lost all those coaches, how would you actually game plan? I mean,
because it's one thing to have an interim head coach,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is. I mean, I guess
coordinators though.
The coordinators are everything.
How would they operate? Like, if you thought, how would you guys deal with that if you had to deal with that?
I'd imagine that you have captains on offense and defense. I'd imagine the offensive captains will probably come together if I don't know who all the people that were fired with that. How many offensive or defensive guys, but at least for offense, if we had lost an OC, you go to the next coach and you'd probably sit down as captains with him. And spend more time game planning during the day would be my guess. I mean, maybe the other assistants could take the load on themselves and do it. But, I'd want to have some saying to hear out what's going on, because that communication between you and your offensive coordinator is important. So
yeah, it's almost like one of those things where you just like I could see where you could say it may be better, because you just say we're just going to go vanilla. We're going to go with our basic play stuff we know, keep it simple, and just go play football. And who knows what that may, because I wanted to ask you, well, what is your take on Washington State? I mean, watching them. And I guess you have some idea of where they are, but what is your first blush as you start your preparation?
I mean, they're hot right now. They've been playing really well. Defensively, they're a really good team. They have a lot of experience. They got some big DBs who play the ball well. Up front, they do a lot of stuff up front, a lot of twists, a lot of stunts. They're not the biggest up front that we've played all year, so they'll have a lot of movement in a lot of ways to try to beat us there. But overall, 1 through 11, they're a tough team. They scrap. I mean, they're finishing every single play 100%. It's something that's very impressive to watching the tape already from what we saw today. So we've got to be ready with our game plan. We've got to be ready to play, beginning to end of every snap, because they definitely won't quit. And, home field advantage of that stadium, it's a lot of energy there, a lot of fans that love, from that small town that love their football team and love supporting them. So it'll be good for us. Good test.
I was just thinking, too, about, going up and how, that it actually might work a little to their advantage in terms of, not knowing exactly how things are going to go, because it's one thing to be able to write down, okay, here are their tendencies here, but stuff is just going to have to change this week. And so as you watch those things, as you guys have already studied some of the film, not just on their defense, but what does Wazoo do overall that's really, really good?
Yeah, so they have a lot of combinations of pressures. They really, they sell out at times. They really trust that they can get pressure on the quarterback before you can find somebody open, and they've done a lot of job causing havoc on the last couple wins that they've had. Especially the defense, you can see, has gotten better throughout the year, and then they do a good job in coverage behind. And so we'll just have to be dialed into protections. We'll have to be dialed into our wide zone run game, our mid zone, and everything else that we've done every year. And then just on the outside, we'll have some matchups down the field, and just continue to throw the ball and run the ball like we have. But, definitely be prepared for some pressures they've got and just other ways to try to cause havoc up front.
You had the nice long touchdown run this last week. Is that something that's just managed in a game-to-game situation? How much do you run and how much do you not run, and making, kind of keeping yourself available for the next play, and how does that work every week? You're running the football.
Yeah, no, when I play, it's never a thought in my mind that I got to keep myself safe, and I've got to, as a quarterback, naturally there's a tendency to tell yourself, okay, once I get in all I can, I got to get down, right? But for me, it's I don't try to conserve myself by any means every play, but when there's an opportunity to run, it's usually safe. That's the way our offense is built in. It's usually stuff that we can get around to the edges, quarterbacks, get into green grass behind the blocker and get down. So any chance I can get to use my legs, it really opens up the offense, the playbook, because teams got to start respecting that. And so, you saw the first couple of games, we did it a lot. We used it a lot because the opportunities were there. In the last couple of games, there are fewer chances. But, any chance is open, I'm always ready and willing to take off and use my legs, because, it opens up the playbook. But it just kind of, it's based on certain times and certain looks. But there's a lot of opportunities throughout the game, I'll say.
Jaron, one of the things, too, we were watching this game on Saturday, and it happened with Boise State, where getting down and playing from behind is a totally different animal than being up. And so have you guys talked about that as a team, or have you thought to yourself, okay, like the idea that it changes the way you guys call plays and how you guys have to react then? Because if you're down double digits and you have to run different stuff to be able to get out. And how's that mindset change when you guys are playing from behind?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, depending on the deficit, obviously the playbook changes a lot. If you're working against the clock, you got to start throwing the ball, because you can't allow, to run the ball and run timeout per se. So, any course of the game, depending on how much you're down, and how much time is left, would definitely trim down the playbook a little bit. It might, vanilla some things up and just push the ball down the field. But yeah, playing behind is definitely not ideal, right? But it's part of football. The last two games this happened. So we got to really, I think, focus on getting out quick and putting points on the board. A couple times we settled for field goals early on, and I think we just got to be better. And again, executing on third down, especially in the red zone and in the low red, and getting a touchdown every time we can, because that really changes the course of the game for us and for our defense, and just the whole three aspects of the game.
So you talk about Baylor kind of coming out with a lot of energy, and you got in that stadium, a lot of crowd noise there.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to expect in Pullman. It could be, it couldn't be. You don't know. But how do you create your own energy on the road now that you've kind of had that tough road match? How do you create that energy to make sure you're getting off to a good start early?
Well, I mean, from the first snap, you just got to go make a play. I think you got to get positive yards from the beginning. And I think it's again, there's no perfect solution for how do you get energy. You know, we always ask ourselves in team meetings and other things, in morning games, away games, whatever that's different from your normal routine. How do you get energy? And I think it just comes down to making plays. You know, there's a lot of things you can say. Oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. But at the end of the day, if you don't step up and make a play, you know, you're not going to get any energy. So it's just one of those things about manhood, man. It's got to man up, go make a play, and just create that energy. I think that's how I look at it anyway.
Jaron, another week in the books on the Players Club. We appreciate you coming on the program. We appreciate what you do for the show. It's a lot of fun to do with you, and we wish you the best of luck this week. Stay healthy and safe travels up to Wazoo, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. Got some sound to play from Kalani Sitake as well to be able to break down a little bit of what Wazoo is and a little bit about what Baylor was. Getting, I think, a taste of what the Big 12 is going to be for BYU. And I'm excited. BYU fans are excited to think, man, to be able to get that kind of talent to come into your school because you're in the Big 12, that's going to be nice. In the meantime, man, figuring out how to deal with those big dudes. We'll see what happens. We'll come right back. More to go right here on KSL's Unrivaled on KSL News Radio.